Hi, this is just a short video to walk you through the various steps to download the QA checks code, install R software and RStudio, and run the checks on your CCASAnet data. So let's get started by going to the GitHub page where the checks are stored. It's github.com/CASAnet QA checks-R. On this page, if you scroll all the way down, there's a list of 13 steps that we're going to go through today. Step 1 is to click on the cloud buttons with the words download zip to download a zip archive of the most current version of our QA scripts. So that's over here. I'm going to go ahead and press open. I opened in another window of screen. Here are the QA checks. If you look inside, there's a folder for code, input, output, resources, and there's a couple of files here that are identified as R files on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this into my desired location. You might choose a location where you have your data readily stored. Here I made a CCASAnet directory, so I'm just going to paste those files that I just downloaded here. So that was step 2. We extracted the downloaded files to our desired location. Step 3 is to take the tables that you should have prepared according to the CCASAnet data transfer protocol and to place those in the input folder. So here's where I have mine prepared. There's an art.csv, there's a basic.csv, follow, lab CD4, lab RNA, and a visit CSV. So I'm going to copy all of those into my QA checks input file. So that concludes step 3 here. Step 4 and 5 are to download and install R, and there's a link, and to download and install RStudio. To install R, go to rproject.org and click on Downloads and Packages. And then here, you might want to choose a mirror that's closest to you. This one's in Ohio. And my operating system here is Windows, but R is available in Linux and Mac. So if you haven't installed R on your machine before, you're going to click on this link. Let me show you it again. Install R for the first time. And then you're going to click here, download R 3.0.2 or whatever the current version is when you run these for Windows. And then you'll save the binary file. And in Firefox, you click this arrow in order to run the file. Now I already have R installed, so I'm not going to continue with this. But following your installation of R, the next step is to go download and install RStudio. So here's a download now. And you have an option to get a server installation, but I'm pretty sure that you'll want this desktop installation. And they go ahead and recommend for your system here is a Windows one that I'll click on. And again, you save the binary file. and you just run it. Here. I also have this already installed, so I'm not going to continue with that. So that brings us through step 5, where we've installed R, we've installed RStudio, we've downloaded all of our files, and we've placed our formatted CSVs in the correct location. So next, you'll open RStudio, and we need to install 2 packages for R. So I'll go to the Start menu, and I'll select RStudio. So again, for step 6, we want to install the Lattice, Extra, and Brew packages. And there's instructions here to go to Tools, Install Packages, type the package name, and then press Install. Keep in mind that the package names are case sensitive. And the second package is called Brew. So then I minimize RStudio. So we've completed number 6, which was the installation of these 2 packages. Next, we're going to open tablechecks.r with RStudio. And then inside of tablechecks.r, we're going to revise the database close date to the database closure date for our data. Tablechecks.r is located in the master directory. And if I double click it, it's opened with RStudio. If for some reason yours opens with R and it looks like this, this console, go ahead and close that. Open RStudio and then navigate to where tablechecks is located. So in this tablechecks program, this is the only actual editing of the R code that you'll do. On line 29 in my program, the database close date is set to January 15th, 2014. If my data is older for my cohort, then I'm going to set this to the correct date. So let's say it's about 2 weeks older than this date. And then I will save my changes. Going back to the GitHub steps, our next step is number 9. In RStudio, we'll change the working directory to the source of our files. So in order to do that, you go to Session, Set Working Directory to Source File Location. So that just changes the working directory to where you have tablechecks located. Next, we want to source the file. This will go through all of our CSV files and it'll execute the logic checks. So to do that, you can press Ctrl-Shift-S, or over here is a button for sourcing the file. While that's running, we can go back to our checklist and see what's next. If this is successful, a very large file with a table that includes all of the exceptions will be created in our output folder. So let's see if our checks have finished. They look like they're still running. checks have finished. The way I know they're finished is the stop sign here disappeared, and there's a place to start typing in the console here. So again, we're going to navigate to the output folder to see if there exists a very large file. Here it is, table query and today's date. This file contains one record for every error that's generated. For example, here there's a table structure error. Table basic has a variable that was unexpected called clinical trial _y. So we can go through each of these by hand, although it's not that helpful. It'd be nice to have a summary of the different errors that were generated, so we could get an idea of the magnitude of errors. So that brings us to our next step, which is to generate a summary report. So we're going to open summarize exceptions.r, and that's located in the same place as table checks. And again, we're going to source this file. Here is the source button. Summarize exceptions.r has finished running, and there should be two reports in the output folder. There's a summary report and a patient level report that you can review. As long as these reports have appeared and this table query is here, everything's run smoothly. If not, please contact Meredith Blevins and I can help you troubleshoot. Thank you.